I have realized in this industry, most people don't really know how much money they make.
Bienvenidos a este nuevo episodio de Atlanta Dulce Hogar, un podcast dedicado a los bienes raíces, vender, comprar o invertir. En esta ocasión tengo el placer de tener conmigo a Nicole Staubly, and voy a hablar en inglés. So thank you so much for coming, Nicole. It's a pleasure to have you here. So Northpoint Mortgage is in-house lender with Century 21. It's my broker. And Nicole is here to tell us why the interest rate is so high.
That is not what we talked about.
Yeah, let's try to go closer so we can listen. And Nicole, I know it's not your fault, but I really want to ask you this first. What is three things that your house must have when you were looking for a house, or if you were going to look for a house? What are three
Me personally?
things? Yes.
Oh,
What are three things that you? I mean, besides pipes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and the cables. Yeah, for the electrician.
I mean, I think I'm a little bit different because we, like the houses we have always bought, we always look for the worst house in the neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you tried to do that trick?
I do the reverse.
Somebody told you that?
Well, I mean, I have an eye for those kind of things. So I like to go in and renovate. So the house that we bought, the house that we're in now, we bought it 7 years ago. And even my real estate agents are like, this house is so ugly.
Yeah,
Please don't make us put an offer.
that.
I'm like, no, put an offer on this house because I want it. And I'm telling you, we went through and we got a renovation loan at the time. We only put down 5%. We got a renovation loan, and we used our money.
203K, right? Is that one of them?
Okay, I mean, we didn't do the FHA, but we did conventional. But yes, we. So then we just put money into the renovation. I mean, we did floors. We repay. I mean, when we bought our house, I think our house was built in '97.
So
the owners
who is we?
it. My husband.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's really handy.
I mean, we hired somebody.
Because I'm handy, but I have no time.
Well, you need to have a contract.
I either work in the house or I go work and get money.
I was going to say, we're all working. So,
okay.
And especially at the renovation loan, you have to have an approved contractor, which is easy to do.
Yeah.
But we went through and we redid the floors, we repainted. I mean, there was wallpaper everywhere. There was 20-year-old carpet. We ripped everything out.
That's very smart.
It was. I mean, I have to say, and we've got a ton of collateral in this house now.
So your house, must have space to gain equity, right?
For me personally.
For you.
Yes.
We're talking to you.
I was looking for certain things, like I needed a certain amount of bedrooms because we have 2 kids. I just needed a big footprint for a kitchen. I didn't need it to look a certain way. I just needed
like the space to be there. Wow, I want to see some before and after.
I'll show you.
Yeah, nice.
Really, we did so
That's
much.
really smart.
Yeah.
You know that I tell my clients that I will adjust to what they are looking for. Because really the realtor is not there to tell you what to do. No. It's to guide you.
Right.
Now, the realtors now need to know some mortgage, but you knew mortgage, so you didn't have to ask your realtors things.
At the time, actually, I wasn't even in this industry. We just, so my husband and I had bought a house in Midtown. Right when we first got married, and it was a duplex. And we converted it to a single family.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy. That was a big one.
Big renovation? You had to take the middle wall?
We did.
Whatever.
We had to rip the whole back wall off. I mean, it was a big to-do.
Oh, wow.
We did it. I mean, it was beautiful. It was lovely. It was right in the middle of Midtown. And so we kind of got started doing that. And then we just got a hankering for it, and that's what we did.
Something else that must have or that you want your house to have?
I mean, the kitchen's a big one.
Okay, kitchen,
Number of bedrooms. And we just wanted a decent-sized backyard.
Backyard.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
No, you don't ask for much.
I mean, no.
Wow.
I mean, I was a little different with the renovation, but.
Wow, nice. Okay. Besides that, why do you have the interest rate so high?
I mean, it's not me personally. Listen, if I could bring them back down, my life would be a lot easier.
I just say that because people think that
we do it.
Go like, okay, what's your interest rate? Mm-hmm. And it's like, wait. What do you mean by what's my interest rate?
Right. There's so much that goes into it.
Exactly. Please.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
I think a lot of times people don't realize that, your credit plays a role, the loan type that you are getting plays a role, your debt to income will play a role, especially like in a conventional loan. So there's a few factors that go into it. And then, you also have to look at, do I want to buy the rate down? So in other words, do I want to invest some
Does
money
it make sense to
bring my rate lower?
Right? Does it make sense?
Right. And
because if I'm paying if I bring my rate down and I'm just saving $100 a month,
right?
But I pay $5,000,
right?
It really makes sense. Those $5,000.
It will take 50 months for you to break even on the $100. 50 months. If you spent $5,000.
We're talking about almost 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years. A little over
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, in my opinion, anything over about 3 years doesn't make sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense to buy it down.
To buy it down. Okay.
And that's what I always do for people when we look at locking our rates is how much are you paying to buy this down, and then what's your break even point on what you're going to save. So I just don't think it always, it makes sense for someone to put all that money into a rate. You're not going to get it back if you refinance in a year or two.
So I always tell people, the riskier you are, the more money the bank wants to collect. Meaning, low score, that means that the bank is taking more risk because you don't behave the way they want you because your credit score is low. Does that make sense?
It's just it is a higher risk loan, so therefore it is, and that's all about what we do is assess risk.
Okay, assess risk.
Right, and so at the end of the day, and it took you a lot. Like if someone has a lower score, it's taken you a while to get that score. You've maybe done a little bit of this, or some of it's out of people's control.
Exactly.
There's certain life events that can't be controlled, but at the end of the day, not me personally, but we're here to assess risk. We're here to figure out
the underwriting, right?
Right.
Okay.
Just in general, the feds and everything. So that's how it's determined. The rates are determined. But
how? Please.
Oh gosh,
elaborate.
There's so much.
Whatever. Sure. I mean, at least something that.
It's fun. I mean, people don't really realize there's so many just little events throughout whatever's going on. So we've got an election coming up, right? War. I think there was a pending government shutdown at some point.
Okay.
I feel like I heard last week, and so rates will be plugging along, and then all of a sudden it's like
the Fed, right?
Well, I mean,
so let's go for the Fed. No, just kidding.
No, it doesn't quite work that way, but
no, this is just a joke.
Yeah, just kidding.
Leave them alone.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's when I have buyers that are sitting and they're waiting to lock, we just kind of watch them, and you just kind of look for a good day in the market, and you just jump in and you lock it. Because there's so many factors that will play into
a good day in the market when you're into it.
Right. It's not like there's it's not like all of a sudden it's like 5% and then it's 7%. It's what is it going to cost to get to that rate? So
exactly.
It's not always just a matter of,
So so I get this question a lot. My niche is mainly Hispanic.
Right.
And they ask me how much or where is my credit score has to be in order for me to qualify for a better mortgage.
A better rate or just
in general, but it's a better conventional when you go out and there's a lot of buyers. Yeah. It's a better FHA. Why is it better FHA? Like, can you?
They have their pros and cons. So I always say if you can go conventional, go conventional. Please. It just makes more sense for a few reasons. There's not an upfront mortgage insurance premium, which is what FHA does charge. It's 1.75%.
Oh, yes. Oh, the upfront. Okay.
Yes. And, people kind of forget about that. And it gets financed into your loan, but it's still...
But that's part of the closing cost.
Right.
1.75.
It gets financed into loan.
It gets in there. Okay.
If you're coming in at $200,000, you have to add that fee, and so you're financing the $200,000 plus the 1.75.
1.75.
Again,
I always
FHA
put it there.
is a phenomenal product, and I use it all the time, and there's a lot of perks to it. But
and this is Fair Housing Act, right? So this is something that the government gave to encourage people
help
to
newer
buy,
buyers, first-time home buyers. Maybe people that didn't have as much money to put down, because the minimum for FHA is 3.5% down payment.
But now conventional does 3%.
Correct.
Not always.
Conventional does do 3%, and I utilize that a good amount. However, usually, and there's always a caveat.
Yes.
Usually the mortgage insurance is a little bit higher.
Okay.
And the rates may be a little bit higher because you're putting less down.
Exactly.
So again, there's now more risk because you're not putting you don't have as much.
It's all about risk.
It's all about risk. So if there's different programs out there. Like, for example, Home Ready. Okay. Home Ready is a conventional program. You can put 3% down. The mortgage insurance is a little bit lower. Usually the rates are a little bit better, but you have to qualify because there's income limits. So you can't make over a certain amount of money or else you don't qualify.
Exactly.
So there's always like, if this, then that.
Exactly. And then another thing is, I want 0% down. I want the help. How is that benefits me, or how is that hits me in the back?
Right.
Right? Like, so, is there always, like, is it always gonna be positive to me as a buyer to not put any money down? Because what I always say is, and I'm trying to elaborate the question, is, remember when your mom told you or your dad told you, oh, you broke that toy because it didn't cost you anything. Oh, that's why you don't take care of things, because it doesn't cost you anything.
Right, yeah.
Isn't that the point of view of the bank?
I mean, I think I get what you're saying. I think that at the end of the day, nothing is free.
Freedom is not free.
So,
did you know that, right?
Well,
in the Korean War Memorial in Washington, it says that big.
Freedom is not free.
And it's true.
There is truth to that. That is true. That is true. There's a cost for everything.
I know, but people want everything for free.
People do. And, at the end of the day, I tell people you have to have some skin in the game. You need to save. You need to work on your credit. When buyers come to me and, maybe they don't qualify at the time.
Okay.
I always tell them, this isn't an if, it's just a when. So, and we always work on a plan like, okay, well, pay this off, work on this. Maybe sometimes I tell them, hey, get a credit card, a secured credit card.
A secure one.
Pay it down.
Don't spend it all.
Well, no, charge a little, go out and buy gas and groceries, but then pay it off at the end of the month and build credit. So people come in and sometimes it's their credit's not great or anything.
What does somebody do when you don't have a history? Like, for example, immigrants. We get here, we've been here for 5 years, maybe 2.
Right.
Everybody talks about, like, don't get any credit cards. Oh, no, banks they're going to kill you. Oh, no, you're going to die. If you get a loan, you'll die. You'll die bad.
No, well, you have to pay on that loan.
I know, but that's what they say. They don't say they did wrong, they couldn't pay, they got laid off, or they, didn't get...
Life happens.
Yeah, life happens.
It does.
And then it's like, wait, this can also be a good thing.
Right.
So...
Credit is good. I mean, it's important to have some credit. And that's why I always tell my buyers that have very little credit, just go get a credit card. Yeah. Or maybe 2, but then make sure that you are paying it off every month.
But not a car, because that's a
you can buy a car.
Bigger debt.
I mean, you're just adding to your debt, so that contributes to your debt to income ratio. Yeah. Which is a whole other conversation.
I know, whole other conversation, which is like... The question is, hi, Miguel, I'm thinking on buying a house, and I wanted to know how much do I have to file in order to qualify. And I'm like, do you know your debt? Oh, no, I have no debt. Yeah. Just my cousin, he asked me to buy a car, and then to help me with the other car, and then this person, and I collect.
Don't co-sign.
Don't co-sign for people, right? No, but that's really... usual, like a lot in the immigrant world or the foreigners world is even more, because I've been here 5 years or 8 in the truth, and then somebody that comes here for reason and it's like, how can you move around with no car? Yeah. But then it's like, okay, I'll help you pay the car. So what I recommend them, because you want to help your family member, is yes, do that, but they have to pay from their account.
Right. That was what I was going to say.
They have to pay
only their account. It can't be a joint account.
No, it can be a joint account.
And they can't send you
and
money
they can
and
send you
pay
the
it.
money.
They have to pay solely from their
You have
account.
to trust that person to pay everything.
On time.
And it's not like, oh, I'll take cash and they put it cash
No,
and they no,
From
because
their account.
they're gonna know.
Right.
They're gonna know.
If we have a full year,
How are they gonna know? They're gonna know.
We know. We know everything. Try. We'll find it.
Right?
We find
you know
everything.
what happened to me the other day? I have a client that Hispanics, again, I mentioned this a lot, but we read day, month, year. That's how we read it, the format. They send that to the because they were requesting for conditions. And they said, hey, this is weird because we only in January and you have already transactions for December, August.
Right.
And it's like no. It's day, month, year.
Yeah.
No, it's not month, day, year.
Right.
So why? No. I'm like, I don't know. Like she started questioning me, like doubting me.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, no,
different.
I'm not a bad person.
Yeah.
Like I won't do anything. Like but let me just send it back. And it's like because they want to do everything in Spanish still, and they're used to it.
Yeah.
That's called homesick.
Yeah.
I always say, do as you see.
Right.
If you move, do as you see. But I got off topic.
No, it's okay.
And so we were talking about the...
Oh, so the financing of the car. I will finish that part. So
yes, please.
if you have co-signed, say, on a car for somebody, and people do it all the time. They have parents, stuff like that. They have to pay it only out of their account. And if we can show that they have been paying on their own without any help, any interaction from you for a full year, we just have to get a full year's worth of payments, their transaction from their bank statement, then we can essentially offset that payment. So we don't have to count that payment.
You don't count it towards their DTI, which
DTI,
is the debt to income ratio.
Right.
Which is 45 in conventional, 55 in FHA, which is another good difference.
That's a big difference for FHA. That's another really strong perk for FHA.
Yeah.
If you're not quite making it work with conventional and you have good credit, you still can go in and get an FHA loan. You have higher debt to income.
Yeah, and then you can maybe buy a house that is more expensive or in a better place.
Right. Yeah. And I have a lot of times where I have couples who, maybe one has stronger credit than the other. And they both have dual income, but we're only putting one person on the loan. So they can afford it together, but we only have one person on loan. So you want to get you're trying to get as much home as you can with just one person financing it. So FHA helps a lot with that scenario, I think.
Yeah, it does. Okay. So you have the person that you help pay their own car. We go to like the risk.
Right.
Is something. So how fast do you qualify somebody? Like, what is that person? I'm not a realtor. I'm somebody out there, and I say, I want to buy a house. I'm gonna call a realtor. Or what do I do? What do you recommend somebody?
I mean, me personally, usually, if they reach out to a realtor, I just tell them, let's fill out an application. So I always talk to the buyer first and say, because everyone can throw out everything. Oh, I make this much, or I don't have any debt. Fill out the application.
I don't owe anything.
Right. Surprise.
That was something that happened so many years ago.
Yeah, it's still there. Which is, again, like I see it all, so I'm used to it. But fill out the application. First and foremost, let's get the application. I am one of those people, I get most of the documents up front. Okay. I don't try to guess. I don't like surprises. So just
most of the documents are
pay stubs, W-2s. If they're 1099, I need their taxes.
No taxes.
I'd like to see their bank statements because they're like, oh yeah, I've got $10,000, and then it turns out it's all cash. That doesn't help us.
Oh yes.
So
that's another thing, big thing with Latinos.
Cash.
They love cash.
I know. So you have to have you have to have money in your account.
Or they don't like banks.
I get
it. you know that most of the time is because the banks disappear.
I feel like if you go with a big enough bank.
No, but like in Venezuela, in like other countries, like I'm from Venezuela, and I remember when I was like 12 years old, I remember like, oh no, the bank just disappeared. And I remember like, what? Like saying, oh, banks just disappeared.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But it's not. It's just corruption and all that over there. Right. But over here, you're secured.
Right.
Sorry, I interrupted you. What else? Bank statements?
Bank statements, like I said, income documents, pay stubs, all of that. Those are the main ones that I get up front because I have realized in this industry, most people don't really know how much money they make or how much money I think they make how they qualify.
They take home.
Right.
Even if they're 1099s.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I get checks, fact checks.
Yeah. And then
but then you get deductions, right?
I'm like, but you're only telling me that you make $10,000 for the year. So
yeah.
We have
line 31.
Right, line 31. Let's always look at that.
Yeah.
So I get everything up front. I go through, I pull their credit. If there's something that's weird, I'm like, well, how about we pay this off? I kind of go through and I try to figure out what makes the most sense. And, sometimes we'll do credit rescores. Sometimes everything looks great.
Credit rescore, is that like saying like, okay, I take this money to the closing table and then we can rescore you like that? What is
so credit rescore is, let's say that, I pulled credit and you have like let's say 650 credit.
Okay.
But you have a credit card that's like maxed out.
Okay.
And I know if you just pay like $2,000 on this card, your score will jump 40 points.
Okay.
Let's just pay it.
690, yeah.
Right. I mean, that's a big difference. It makes the difference between, qualifying
conventional
and not qualifying.
or
the conventional or FHA.
Also the rate they're offering you.
Right. All of it. So, that's what we do is we'll go in and let's just pay it now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get a rescore through the credit bureaus and then we keep going. So, there's different ways. Or if someone doesn't quite qualify, maybe their scores aren't high enough to qualify. Well, let's pay this and this. And then, because we can go in and I can pull like a little simulator and see like, if you pay this off, this is where your score should be. So there's different ways of doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like the most common, just the pay stubs, the bank statements.
Mm-hmm.
So because you want to know their income, you want to know their papers too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
Are they citizens?
Right,
right.
I always get that.
Are they resident?
Mm-hmm. Their visa, if they have a work
visa, TPS.
Right.
You know what TPS is?
Yeah.
Temporary status protection. Protected status. Okay. DACA too?
I haven't really had to do a lot.
No? Okay. But there is possibilities, or you gotta look into it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
okay.
Honestly,
yeah, we don't wanna say anything. Then you said so, but you said so, right?
Right.
We don't wanna say that. So, if somebody comes to you and says, "What do I need to do to get ready? Like, could you give me some advice or something?"
Right.
After these commercials. No, just kidding. Tell me, like, what is the advice that you would give somebody that comes to you? Hey, Nicole, like you're in a party, you're in your house, or not in your house, but like you are with your family, you're not working.
Right.
So, I heard that you are into the mortgage business. And you're like, yeah, I get out of here. I want to party. I want to be with
right.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Right.
Let me know. I lead. Woo. What would you recommend? Like, what do you recommend me?
I mean, work on your credit. If your credit is not very stable, pay down your credit cards, save money. If you've got money sitting under your bed somewhere, let's put it into the bank. Like deposit it because it has to season for 2 months.
2 months.
So we have to.
What if somebody deposits $10,000 because they really were saving? How do you do? How do you do to
2 months?
2 months.
So
oh wow.
If you're making a large, let's just say you've been kind of putting money aside and cash and everything, and then you go deposit in the bank. We have to be able to source that. So we have to be able to figure out where that money has come from. And unless you have...
I can say I had a cash in my house.
Right. You can't. That's not a... we can't source that. So... Yeah. And there's a lot of reasons why. I won't go into it. But...
yeah. No, yeah, I can go into it. That means that you went, sold somebody in the corner, sold something in the corner, and came back to your house and put it in the bank.
That is the reason. That is the reason why the government.
That is what the Fed. Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's what. I mean,
straight. That's what it is.
There's a lot of money laundering out there.
Yeah,
so there are laws to protect people against these things.
Yeah. So. And then you're lending money to somebody that is laundering the money. So you don't want to get involved into that. Nobody wants to get involved. Not me. No, nobody.
I don't.
Yeah.
No thanks. So I just tell them if you have a lot of money, put it in the bank. let it sit there for 2 months, let it go through 2 bank statements, and then we can start, because I do have a lot of people that will kind of put money aside, and it's like, well, we can't use cash. So, work on credit, work on, make sure your finances are in order, make sure you have money saved up.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones, honestly.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To get a better loan, better credit, though.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It always helps. It helps, always.
Thank you so much for being here, for coming, for all the questions. I'm sure this is going to help somebody. And thank you for coming.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. All right. Thank you, everybody. Muchas gracias por haber estado aquí. Esto fue Atlanta Dulce Hogar, un podcast dedicado a los bienes raíces, vender, comprar e invertir.